Good morning. Today's lesson is on standard form of a linear equation. It's called standard form because standard means normal, and this is kind of the normal way that an equation would look. Now, it doesn't look very pretty with all those letters in it, ax plus by equals c. But x and y are really the only things that you're going to be actual letters. Those are our missing numbers or our variables. The a, b, and c will be real numbers called integers. And integers are special because integers have no fractions or decimals allowed. So that's why they're capital letters. So if you look up here, capital A, capital B, capital C, in math, that's what a capital letter stands for. A capital letter means you need to put in whole numbers there, or negatives also, called integers, but no fractions or decimals. So down here at the bottom, these are some examples of what a standard form equation looks like. And again, it's nice. The x and the y are on the left. There's an answer, equals 12, equals 15, and there are no ugly fractions or decimals. Now, this form is unfortunately kind of useless, other than it looks nice. It's just the nicest way to make a math equation look. It looks way better than some of the things we've seen recently. Remember slope-intercept form last week? Things looked like this, and people don't like that. There's no answer. There's fractions. The x and y are on separate sides of the equal sign. That really makes people confused who don't understand algebra. All right? So let's take a look at what our work will be like today. Okay, you're going to be graphing, so you're going to have to actually put a couple of dots on a piece of paper, well, not a piece of paper, but on the computer screen with your finger, and then draw a line through them. All right? So I call this the cover-up method for graphing, and you'll kind of see why. All right, so step one, we're going to graph the x-intercept. We learned how to do that the other day. And to do that, we make the y equal 0. So if I make the y part equal 0 in this equation, what really happens is I get 2x minus 3 times 0 equals 6. And 3 times 0 is 0, and in math, we don't write zeros. So it's kind of like we're covering up the part with the y in it. And all that's left was the 2x and the equals 6. So we're going to go ahead and solve that. So if I divide both sides by 2, I get x equals to 3. So that's my x-intercept. So on my graph, I can come over to the x-axis and put in a 3 for my x-intercept. All right, now I'm going to do the y-axis, or the y-intercept. It says make x equal 0 and solve. So that means make the x the 0 this time. And again, 2 times 0 is 0. And in math, we don't write 0, so this part we don't write. So it's kind of like we just cover up the part with the x in it, and we're going to solve what's left over. Negative 3y equals 6. And that's what I've got down here on the left. Solve it. I'll divide both sides by negative 3. And my y-intercept is at negative 2. So on the graph, on the y-axis, I'm going to go to negative 2. My third and final step, you can see it down there hiding in the bottom corner, says draw the line. So now I draw a line through those two dots, and I am completely done with this problem. All right, again, it's called the cover-up method. So we're finding, essentially, we're graphing with intercepts, but kind of treat it like we're covering up one part of the problem, throwing that part out, solving what's left. All right, let's try a couple more. All right, next one. Let's find the x-intercept first. So to find the x-intercept, I'm essentially going to take this equation and cover up the part with the y in it, essentially throwing it away, and then solve what's left. It's always a divide. That's always what's left. Just divide both sides by 4. I got x equals negative 3. So that's my x-intercept. So on the x-axis, come over to negative 3, put in a dot. All right, now to find the y-intercept, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to make the x a 0 this time and throw that part away. And just save the part with the y in it, the negative 6y equals negative 12 part. Again, it's essentially like I'm covering that part up, throwing it away. So solve what's left, and it's always a divide. Divide by the exact number you want to get rid of, negative 6. The negative 6's cancel. And on the right-hand side, negative divided by negative makes positive. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Again, if you're bad with numbers, use a calculator for that part. If you can't use a calculator, then I don't know what to tell you. All right, so I put my dot in. Y-intercept, negative 2. Draw a line. All right, so they're not terribly time-consuming, but they might require the use of a calculator. All right, next one. Let's do the x-intercept. It means throw the part with the y in it away. Throw the 2y out. Get rid of it. And divide both sides by that number that's with the x, the negative 5. And I got x equals negative 2. So on my x-axis, I'll go to negative 2, put in a dot. Now for the y, throw the x part away. So throw out the negative 5x, keep the 2y equals 10, and divide both sides by 2. It's always the same exact steps. The 2's cancel. 10 divided by 2 makes 5. That's my y-intercept. Got 2 dots, you can draw a line. All right, let's try one more. A tricky one. Not that these get that tricky, but a tricky one. All right, first off, let's throw the y part out. 3x equals 9. So let's do that first. So the 3x equals 9. All right, I divide both sides by 3. And I get x equals 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I'm going to go over to my graph, and on my x-axis, it says x equals. So on the x-axis, go to 3. Now for the y, let's cover up the x part. Solve the leftovers. 2y equals 9. Divide both sides by 2, and you get 4.5. Oh no, what do I do? It's a decimal. Well, 4.5 would be somewhere right in between 4 and 5. Right about there, y-axis. 4.5, 4.5. Not quite 4, not quite 5, somewhere in between. Draw a line. All right, your work is to do a handful of these. I think there's like 8 of them today. And all you're doing is you're doing the cover-up method and graphing in 2 dots and then drawing a line through the 2 dots. All right, good luck today.